Hey guys, I am back with the part two of the consumer decision making process. So, um, today we're going to continue with this class on the consumer decision making process, which is an interesting topic. One of the most important topics, I feel, in the consumer behavior course. So, for the live class, I'm just waiting for students to join in. Internet issues, yeah. But you guys don't have internet issues when you're watching like YouTube videos and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So that's a funny one when people say they have internet issues only for the online classes. Yeah, yeah, same here. Okay, guys, I think we'll get going. Start off with the lecture for today. Um, it's very nice here too. The weather is very pleasant. Um, but I'm sure where you are is much nicer. Yeah, it's quite pleasant actually. Yeah, it's quite pleasant actually. It must be nice where you are, Raja. I think it was raining a bit here until a short while ago. Okay, so I think we'll kick off um, the class for today. Is it changed timings for Ramadan? I did not know that. Hmm. I have not seen that yet. Um, oh yeah, I just saw the schedule now. It doesn't make a difference. I think we're all here now. We can change the schedule from next class. So, how is the Ramadan going for everybody? I don't know about you guys, but it's hard for me to wake up that early in Ramadan, especially. Okay, so we'll kick off with the um, lecture for today. Um, we are discussing the second part of the consumer decision making process, um, which is a very, very important process because it helps us understand why customers, purchase um, our products and services. So consumer decision making process is um, very key to understanding if you want a successful business, if you have your own business, or if you're working for an organization, does not make a difference. But it is a very, very important um, concept to understand from a business point of view, from a marketing point of view, uh, because it gives us a better understanding of the whole process that a consumer goes through when they're making a decision. And if we know that process, we can then try to put ourselves in the mind of the customer during those various stages of the process. Whereas, if you don't know the process, then you're really, um, you're taking a lot of chances on trying to sell your products and services. Knowing the process obviously helps us to um, influence the customer's decision making. So, the right type of advertising, the right type of communication with the customer will obviously help to influence the customer in the right way so that they purchase our products or our services compared to our competitors. So we kick off with the second bit of the consumer decision making process. Um, there are three types of purchases that we're looking at that customer can go through. So the first type is a trial purchase. It's a new product. You're not really sure how well the product's going to be. You haven't tried it before from a customer's perspective. So you try it out as a trial purchase. A repeat purchase, you've tried the product, you liked it, or you thought it was decent, and then you repeat the purchase, you buy it again. Um, and then the long-term commitment, that's where the customer loyalty comes in, and that's what the goal should be for every organization. Try to get customers to become loyal to them. That's where a customer has long-term commitment to purchasing from one particular brand, one particular organization, um, or so on and so forth. So what we want to do is we want to ensure uh, that a customer goes from the trial section all the way to the long-term commitment section, because we want them to become loyal. And obviously we know loyal customers are more profitable than other types of customers. I can just move this slide a bit. Okay, I think that's better. A customer's purchase behavior has a number of things that a customer looks at when they're purchasing a product or service. So one of the things the customer looks at is the brand. That makes a difference. For some customers, makes more difference. For others, it might make a bit less difference. But brand most certainly is an important factor for a lot of customers. And if we know that the brand for our type of customers is an important factor, then what we can do is we can build a better brand, and we try to position our brand in such a way where the customer prefers our brand over other customer, or the competitor, sorry, prefers our brand over competitors' brands. The store choice. So what store you purchase the product or service from. So if you look at departmental stores, or if you look at grocery stores, you go to a grocery store, the different grocery stores, and inside the grocery stores, you would find different brands of products in a grocery store. So the brand of the grocery store, the store choice, would also make an impact on the customer's decision making. And then the payment option, that's become quite important now. We've seen more and more customers are moving away from the physical cash to the electronic payment options. So they're moving from using the hard currency to using things like credit and debit cards. But then now we're moving to a new phase where people are using cashless um, electronic payments, such as Apple Pay, PayPal, and other electronic payment systems. Or customers might be using contactless payment, where you take your card and you touch the machine and the payment is taken automatically. Um, that is something technology that uses RFID technology, where it's also built into some phones. So you take your mobile phone, and if you've got the Apple Pay or contactless setup in there, you just tap your phone onto the machine and it takes the payment from you. So um, you know, personally, when I have the option, I try not to go around with my wallet. I just have my phone with me, and the phone has got all my transactions, all my credit cards or my debit cards linked to the phone. So if I want to use the train, say for example in cities like London and Dubai, I do not need to take my physical wallet with me. The phone works, and you can just tap your phone, and it lets you in and use the trains and the buses. Um, you go to grocery stores or whatever, any shopping you're doing, it's all on the phone because the phone has all of your information in there. So from a customer's perspective, that is a convenience that customers have. However, that is not the case for customers all around the world. In some countries, customers prefer to pay by cash. Cash is the dominant method of payment. Why is that? Well, uh, there's a number of reasons for that. One of those could be because of the historical background of that particular country. People have been using cash, they prefer using cash, they trust cash as opposed to electronic ones. The other option or possibility could be that customers uh, fear electronic fraud. They fear people will steal their credit card or debit card information, and therefore they prefer to use cash. So in a lot of countries, cash on delivery is more dominant form of payment. So even if you purchase something online, more customers prefer to pay using the cash on delivery method as opposed to paying through credit cards or debit cards. So these three are key factors: the brand choice, the store choice, and the payment option available for customers to pay. If we go a little bit in detail, when we're looking at the store first decision, so if those customers who prefer to go for store first as opposed to a brand first, um, you know, uh, why would customers do that? That happens when evoked set consists of stores rather than a brand. When he thinks of a product category, so when you think of a product category, you want to buy, I don't know, milk, for example, then the brand really doesn't come into play with this thing. It's actually the store that matters. So when the product category, the brands are not that strong, they're not that popular, then the customer chooses the store first as opposed to going for the brand. Store first decisions require distribution in all relevant stores. Obviously, your product needs to be available in all the stores. Um, Good point of purchase and in-store promotions. So if you know that in your product category, the customer will prefer the store, then your product needs to be advertised in the point of purchase. So that could be near the cash counters, the tills, or as you walk into the store, or in the aisle where your product is placed. The good shelf space is important. That is a very interesting and important factor because um, you know products, it has been found, that have got larger shelf space have more chances of being sold. Products with smaller shelf space have less chances of being sold. Um, Products that are placed more closer to eye level have higher chances of being sold, as opposed to products that are placed down down below. And then cooperative advertising programs, so where two or more brands will come together to advertise their products and services. So it could be the store along with your own brand working together to advertise your products or services. Um, Next, we move on to um, outlet factors and purchase. So the retail store image is an important factor um, because the image of the store will impact the customer's decision making. Just like the image of a brand will impact the decision making when a customer chooses a particular brand. The pricing strategies and the store image, obviously. So oftentimes when we think of these type of products, the the pricing is one of the key factors for customers. So when the brand is no longer not an important factor, then the price comes into play. So if there's a particular store you think of purchasing from, you might see that you prefer that store possibly because of the pricing that they have. So you'd think that they have the lowest or the best prices around. It could also be because of convenience of the store, the location of the store. So the store is located in a place which is closer to you. So for you, it's easier to go and purchase from that particular store. So the actual location of the store is another important factor within this thing. The product assortments, okay. So the variety of the products that are available. Stores, especially grocery stores, departmental stores that have a larger variety of products available for customers to purchase, the customer is more likely to prefer that one as compared to others. Obviously, the product categories have to matter to the customer. It's not just things that would not be of use to customers. The retail environment is also something that's very important. There have been lots of studies, lots of research that's been done on this, which talk about the environment inside the store layout, the colors they use inside the store, the music that they play inside the store, the temperature that they've kept the store at. Lighting, how well lit the store is, and other factors that go along with this thing. So the whole environment that is inside a particular retail outlet will impact your purchase decision making. And you can think of clothing retailers out there. A lot of companies become very creative. They've got different types of environments they set up for the customers. Why do they do that? Well, they do that because they're trying to attract the customers. IKEA has got a very unique type of retail environment where you walk into the store, everything's out there, everything's laid out. You can actually test out and use products as they are. When they're selling living room furniture, they've got the whole section set up like a living room. When they're selling bedroom furniture, they've got model bedrooms around. So you can go walk into these model bedrooms and you see the different furniture and accessories that are there. So that environment that IKEA has created, the in-store environment, is a very popular and positive stimulus for their customers. And customers prefer to purchase from stores like IKEA because of the environment that IKEA has created. Okay, moving on. Let me just fix this screen a little bit. Okay. So when we talk about in-store decisions, what impacts a customer's in-store decision? If it's generally planned, product category decided on prior to entering the store. So if a customer has decided, they've planned their purchase, they've planned their shopping, so you've got a list with you, you know exactly what you want to purchase, you are more likely, you're more likely to go for that particular product. You're less likely to deviate and buy other brands or other products. So for example, if you got a list which has Heinz ketchup, you're going to go and find the Heinz ketchup usually. The chances that you'll be looking for other brands or other things would reduce. If you have just ketchup written on it, a particular category, then you have more chances of looking around and seeing what other brands are available, if there are any sales going on, or things of that sort. So if you have a planned, the customer has got a planned decision making, it's usually harder for other companies to change that thinking. Substitute purchases, brands substituted in store due to promotions. So, like I said, if you know you want to go and buy ketchup and you're there in the store, well, you've got Heinz, you've got Heineken, you've got the store brand of ketchup. You might have other brands of ketchup, and then you look, and then you might compare. There might be a promotion going on, and the point of purchase promotions, that's where they impact the customer decision making, where you might have a coupon, right there at the shelf where the ketchup is placed. So grab this coupon, get 10% off, purchase of ketchup. So you might prefer to go for that particular thing. If it's totally unplanned, you have no plan, you're just walking around, then the in-store decisions are going to be much greater. So a customer who does not have an idea, you just walk into a store, you're walking around, then the in-store promotions and things would have a greater impact on a customer's purchase decisions, as opposed to when you have it planned. So planned is obviously much more rigid. It's much more stricter. The customer knows what they want to buy. They go and they purchase the product, and then they come back. And in between, you've got certain, you've got a shopping list, but you're not really sure which brand you want to buy. And then at the end of the scale, you've got totally unplanned decision making. You just walk into a store. It happens to a lot of people, a lot of customers. I'm sure it happens to you. It happens to me as well. You're in a mall. You walk into a store. You're not there because you got something planned. But while you're walking around, you might see a design you like. You might see a product you like. You might see something that appeals your eye. Or there might be a promotion going on, and the promotion attracts you. You're like, okay, you want to check it out. There might be some sample that they're giving out, or taste tests that they might be doing. So you try it, you're like, oh, okay, you know what, this is something that could be nice. I might want to give it a shot. So in-store decisions really are dependent on whether the customer is going in with a plan. What sort of plan is it, or totally unplanned? Um, if we just move on. Okay, next thing is something called gifting behavior, which is an interesting and another important factor within the consumer decision making. So we know what a gift is, right? But gifting is an act of symbolic communication with explicit and implicit meanings, ranging from congratulations and love to regret, obligation, and dominance. So gifting can be done for a large number of reasons. Um, it could be implicit meanings or explicit meanings. And a lot of stores, a lot of brands, a lot of products, a lot of companies depend on the gifting behavior. In fact, when we look at retail sales, a large percentage of the sales oftentimes comes in countries, in the Western countries, comes from the Christmas shopping period. So that is the pre, during, and the post-Christmas shopping period. So much of the sales for many of the retailers come during that period. Um, for some retailers, it could be as much as 70 or 80% of your annual sales come from that. Besides those main holidays, you're getting other holidays which are becoming popular, or other events that are becoming popular. So Valentine's Day has become super duper popular over the last 20, 30 odd years. Similarly popular. So brands, companies are using this knowledge that customers want to give gifts to people, and then they're using that, and then they're using it for their own advantage. So they are promoting certain sell candies and things and chocolates and stuff. They would focus on events like Halloween and Easter. And then obviously other brands, other companies that sell retail thing of that sort. So what would you do? You would have the group that would give to individual. That is intercategory gifting. Um, the receivers are other groups. So if you have an individual giving to a group, that will be intercategory gifting. A group giving to another group, there's the intergroup gifting, usually from one organization to another organization. Um, and individual gifting to themselves happens. People do that. That is the intrapersonal gifting, or the group buying something for themselves. Intra-group gifting. Um, so what are the definitions within when we look at these, and what are some of the examples? So inter is a group gifting, giving a gift to another group, a Christmas gift from one family to another family. One company sending a gift to another company. The intercategory gifting, which if you look back here, the intercategory gifting was when an individual gives something to a group, right? Intercategory gifting is an individual giving a gift to a group, or a group gifting a gift to an individual. Could be vice versa as well. A group of friends chips in to buy a new mother a baby gift, right? Throwing a baby shower, so friends get together and buy a gift. The intra-group is a group giving a gift uh, to itself or to its members. So an organization will buy a gift for all of its members. A family buys a VCR for itself as a Christmas gift. Okay. Uh, Interpersonal is an individual giving a gift to another individual, right? So boyfriend buys Valentine's Day chocolates for a girlfriend, or vice versa. And then intrapersonal, sorry, is the self gift. A woman buys herself jewelry to cheer herself up, right? So those are the different gifting relationship categories. Circumstances and motivations for self-gift behavior. So when would people buy gifts for themselves? Again, this has become more popular now, and companies are exploiting this factor that customers are giving gifts to themselves. They're helping themselves. They're doing things for themselves. So that could happen when you have some sort of accomplishment. You pass university. You do something, remarkable, which you feel is remarkable for yourself. You run a marathon, whatever. That is to reward yourself. If you're feeling down, people do that a lot. If you're not feeling very positive, what do? You to cheer yourself, you go and purchase, something for yourself. A holiday, right? Again, cheering yourself up, being nice to yourself. If you're feeling stressed, stress shopping, they call it. It's a common thing now. A lot of people engage in stress shopping. Uh, so if you are feeling stressed, you go and buy yourself something. You have some extra money, right? So you celebrate. You might have a need. Okay. Had not bought something for yourself in a while. So you buying things for other people, but you haven't bought something for yourself. To attain a desired goal. This could be to provide an incentive toward a goal. Um, so these are some of the circumstances, not all of them. These are just some of the circumstances when people would want to um, purchase something for themselves. Again, from a organization's perspective, when we know these things are there, we know from a customer's perspective, these are the factors that are important for the customer. What do you do? You will try to influence the decision making customer at these points. So through the advertising you do, through social media campaigns you do, um, you try to influence those particular factors. So, for instance, um, usually beginning of summer is the time when a lot of people graduate from university and from colleges and stuff. Companies would want to advertise, um, you know, things where they're showing their customers rewarding themselves for personal accomplishment. So you might see more advertising around that time of the year where you'd see somebody graduating with a gown and everything, and then they're going out to purchase themselves something because the companies are trying to encourage their uh, remind their customers and to encourage them to go and reward yourself by purchasing that particular product or service for themselves. Um, Moving on, if you look at a simple model of consumption, this is the basic model for consumption for an average customer. Okay, so the input is the choice or purchase decision. Um, so from a customer's perspective, the consumption set is added to one's assortment or portfolio. Your consumption style will impact that as well. How the individual fulfills his or her consumption requirements. Um, these two interact together and they lead to the next bit, the process of consumption, using, possessing, collecting, and disposing of the item or service that you have consumed. And then the output are usually feelings, moods, attitudes, and behaviors. So the output would be altered consumer satisfaction. Hopefully, that will be towards a positive side. So after using the product or service, the customer will be more satisfied. It could be a change in lifestyle or the quality of life. It depends on what you purchase. You buy yourself a washing machine. It improves your quality of life to some extent. Instead of going out to the laundromat, it provides convenience for you. A new laptop, again, improves the quality of life. A new handbag for the ladies out there. The lifestyle choice, improves your lifestyle. It could be for learning and knowledge behavior. So you invest in yourself. You purchase a course. You enroll at university for a master's degree or something of that sort. Or it could be expressing and entertaining oneself. So, you know, going out to a theme park, watching a movie, going to the cinema, those are the factors that are important that could result in the consumption of a product or service. So if you go into this in a bit more detail, the consumption process, products usually have special meanings and memories for customers. They can have, not necessarily all of the products and services you consume, but they can have. And those products that have got special meaning can lead to customer loyalty, brand loyalty. So when a customer feels more attached to a particular product or service, a particular brand, they're more likely to become brand loyal, as opposed to those products and services that you don't feel any attachment to. So there are two concepts here: repeat purchase and loyalty. Repeat purchase does not mean loyalty, does not mean the customer is loyal. Um, because the customer could be going back and purchasing a product simply because that is the cheapest product you can purchase, because that is the closest, in terms of location, the store is the closest, so you go and purchase from that particular store, not because you're loyal to it, but only because of the location, the convenience, and those factors. Once you start liking that product and you prefer that product, then you're moving in towards the loyalty side of things, loyalty category. Um, True loyalty exists when the customer um, starts not only liking the product, but they start loving the product. They start loving the brand. Um, I give this example a lot. People who queue up the night before a new Apple phone, for example, is released. These people love the Apple brand, and they're willing to sleep on the sidewalk, on the pavement, the night before, just to go and purchase their favorite brand or product. That's loyalty. That's true loyalty for customers. Consumers are less loyal. Why? Um, it could be if there's an abundance of choice, the availability of information might be little. You feel entitled to something. Insecurity, time scarcity, and so on and so forth. These are some of the things that might impact loyalty, consumer loyalty. Um, what's satisfaction and what is dissatisfaction? Customer satisfaction is an important, very, very important factor when um, a customer consumes a product or service. The reason why a customer is consuming product service um, is so that they can gain satisfaction from using their product or service. Um, when a customer uses a product or service and it meets their expectations, then the customer will be satisfied. If there's a gap between what the customer expects and what the customer gets, then there's likely to be dissatisfaction. Um, Customer satisfaction can lead to repeat purchase. The key word here is can. It does not always lead to repeat purchase. Customer satisfaction can lead to customer loyalty. Again, it's not necessary. A satisfied customer will become a loyal customer. And there's a lot of research out there that supports this claim. However, dissatisfaction most of the time will lead to the customer defecting to other brands, other stores, other products. So once the customer is dissatisfied, that's bye-bye from the customer's perspective. They are more likely to leave us and try another product, another brand, another store, another organization, another company. So satisfaction is important from a company's perspective because we want to ensure the minimum thing that we want to do is we want to ensure the customer is satisfied. Those companies, those brands, those products that go beyond satisfaction, and when the gap is positive, from a customer's perspective, that is called customer delight. When a customer is delighted, then the chances of the customer becoming loyal are much, much higher. The chances of repeat purchase are much, much higher as compared to mere satisfaction. Okay. When we talk about satisfaction, we talk about performance. How a product or service would perform from a customer's perspective. What are the types of performance expectations? It could be instrumental performance, the way a product actually functions. So you've purchased a blender, for example. How is that blender actually performing? Does it do what it says on the box? Does it blend the type of fruits and things that you want to blend? It could be symbolic performance. It could be the style, the appearance, overall aesthetics of a product. So does the blender look appealing to you? Does the blender look pleasing to you? Some customers will go for certain colors. I've got everything in my kitchen is red. I've got a red toaster. I've got a red tea kettle. I want a red blender because that will match with other things in my kitchen. Or it could be effective performance, how owning the product makes you feel, right? So people who would purchase certain products, again, it varies from one type of customer to another type of customer. For some customers, it could be a perfume. For other customers, it could be a fountain pen, which costs $1,000. For some customers, could be just a t-shirt, a certain type of t-shirt or a piece of clothing, but just how that makes you feel, that is a very important factor. So performance has three key factors here that we're looking at: the basic, instrumental, the functional. How does the product function? Does it do what it says on the box? It could be the style and the aesthetics part of it. Again, that makes a big difference. And then how the product makes you feel owning the product. So that's the internal self-satisfaction for a customer. Relationship marketing is an important factor within this whole consumption process. What is relationship marketing? You might have heard of this. It is a popular term that is used oftentimes. It is defined as marketing aimed at creating strong, lasting relationships with a core group of customers by making them feel good about the company and by giving them some kind of personal connection with the business. So relationship marketing is where a company or a brand tries to keep a connection with a certain set of customers. And who are those certain set of customers? These are the customers who we want as a company want to be loyal to us. These are the customers who we feel are going to be more profitable to us. These are customers who might already have a positive inclination towards our brand, our product, or our service. And we try to create a relationship with them by keeping in touch with them, by customizing things for them, by going out of our way for these guys. An example would be a mobile phone company, a cellular provider, cellular service provider. So if you are a heavy user, if you're a customer that uses the mobile phone a lot, the company could set up a special helpline for you. So you've got a special phone number, you call up that special number, and you get connected straight away to the representative from that company. What would that make you feel as a customer? That will make you feel valued, that will make you feel happy that this company is going out of their way to do something for me. Oftentimes we see credit card companies do that. So those customers that have got a better type of credit card, platinum card, or titanium card, or whatever, they've got special phone numbers they can call. And when you call those special phone numbers, you get connected straight away to a customer service representative. If you got the basic type of credit card, you have to call up, you go through a long list of menu, and then you have to wait in the queue for a long period of time before somebody picks up the phone. So companies do this because they're trying to build relationships, positive relationships with their customers who they feel are more valuable to them than the average customer. Within this, there's an important concept called the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule basically says that customers, 80% of your profit will come from 20% of your customers. So a small group of customers will be responsible for a large chunk of your sales, a large chunk of your profits. Oftentimes, those are the 20% customers that we want to build stronger relationships with. Those are the ones who we want to give preferential treatment. And that is part of relationship marketing. So some key characteristics of relationship marketing. If a firm provides product or services, what we want to do is we want to build trust and promises. From the customer's perspective, the customer gets will provide repeat purchase for us. The firm needs to provide individualized attention, so that special phone line for the customer is part of that individualized attention. Continuous information, price offers, so special deals for the loyal customers. Oftentimes we see companies do that. Loyal customers will get special cards, gold card or whatever. And the more loyal you are, the better discounts you are supposed to get from those companies. Credit card companies often do that. And the way how they do, in terms of price offers, they give you more points. So if you got a basic credit card, you might get 1 point for every $2, pounds, euros that you spend. But if you become a gold customer, you might get 2 points for every $1, pound, euro, whatever you're spending. It could be customer services, special services for the loyal customers, extra perks you could offer for those people. Airlines often do that. So when they see it's a frequent flyer, somebody with a good status, they might upgrade those customers as compared to other customers. So you're more likely to get an upgrade if you're already a loyal customer with an airline, as opposed to, or a hotel might do that as well. They might just bump you up to a better type of room if they see you're a loyal customer and they've got rooms available. So all of these factors help to build trust. And obviously, from the customer's perspective, we talked about repeat purchases, increased loyalty. The customer has goodwill towards that brand, towards that company, and that leads to positive word of mouth. They talk good about your brand, about your company to other people, to friends, families, or it could be just posting on your social media as a review, as a positive review for your website, for your company, for your organization, for your brand. And what does that do? That gets other customers to come to you. And it lowers costs for a firm, which is quite important, because a loyal customer has actually, there's lower cost for a company to have loyal customers. Why? There's many different types of lower costs, but a few of those are lower advertising. Customer who likes you already, you don't need to advertise to them as frequently, because they'll prefer you over other brands. So the advertising costs go down. When the customer comes, they know how to use your brand, they know how to use your product, they know how to use service. So it lowers your costs in terms of the cost it takes for you to educate the customer. So after sales service, if something goes wrong, a loyal customer might know how to fix it themselves instead of calling your after sales service line or something of that sort. So the costs become lower. There are many other costs involved in this. These are just a couple I've discussed here. But for a company that has got loyal customers, the cost will actually go down. Next, we look at the purchase, post-purchase process and the marketing strategy. So how do all of these things impact our marketing strategy, the customer decision-making process? So we know that a customer is less likely to become loyal if they haven't tried it. It's almost impossible for a customer to become loyal if they've not tried your product. So the first step, what we want to do is we want to encourage trial for our product. We want to encourage our customers to try our products. When we discuss the diffusion of innovation, so when there's a new product or a new model or new thing that comes out, we know that there's a certain segment of customers who are the innovators. And the innovators, if we want to get them to try our products. So car companies, what do? They encourage people to come and test drive the car. Why do companies that are renting out or leasing or selling houses and stuff encourage people to come in and walk around those places? You could just show them pictures of the house. Well, there's the house. You encourage people to come in, walk around, see the house, see the place. That's part of the trial process when you're doing that for a house or an apartment or flat or a condo. Encouraging trial will get the customer to see that product, to experience that product. I've seen in shopping malls where they give you a free 5-minute massage Why do they do that? That's the trial bit. You take a 5-minute massage, you're like, oh, okay, you know what, this feels good. It releases stress. Maybe I'll go for the full 30-minute or 1 hour or whatever massage. The trial helps encourage the purchase of the product. So once you try it, the customer likely to come back and purchase that product from you. And once they purchase, then the whole process gets rolling, where then the customer will come back and repeat the purchase. We want to build brand loyalty with the customers. So that means building the appropriate loyalty programs. And by loyalty programs, I don't just mean offering points, but it's a whole bunch of things that have to go around a loyalty program that has got to be there. So you've got to be smart and develop an effective loyalty program to get your customers to keep coming back to you. You have to make efforts to increase satisfaction and decrease dissatisfaction. And not just satisfaction, but what you want to do is go beyond satisfaction. You want to try to get your customers to become delighted with your product or service that you're offering. Obviously, you want to create symbolic meanings for the products or services that we're selling, so that the customer develops an attachment to that product. So it's not just about physically using the product; it's about something more than more than the physical use of the product. So, for example, we talked about the blender earlier. You could create a symbolic meaning by saying, make a milkshake or whatever. It's the way how your mom used to do it, right? So what you're doing is you're creating nostalgia with that blender. When you do that, the customer has got more reasons to purchase your product or service as compared to other brands or products or services. We need to understand if the customer makes store first or brand first decisions, and then we market accordingly. And we want to develop good relationship management strategies. So that is part of getting the customer to become loyal, but we have to create good CRM, customer relationship management strategies, so that we can continue to provide better services to those customers who we want to become loyal to our products and services. What are the outcomes of post-purchase evaluation? So we briefly talked about this earlier, but the actual performance, when it meets and matches expectations, the customer normally has neutral feelings. That is what we call customer satisfaction. So you purchase a car, and the car says it will do 20 miles to a gallon. You drive the car, and the car does roughly 20 miles to a gallon. Plus or minus 5-10% usually doesn't make a big difference. So you'll have neutral feelings. Yeah, that's what the company said. That's what it's providing, and your feelings are neutral. If the performance exceeds the expectations, you buy the car. It says 20 miles to a gallon. It does 25-30 miles to a gallon. What's happening? You're exceeding the customer's expectations. Or you purchase the car, and it's got something special added onto it, which was not perhaps advertised. You get bigger alloy wheels, or you've got a better sound system in your car than the one that they advertise. What happens? You are, as a company, you're exceeding the expectation of the customer, and that creates positive feelings in the minds and the heart of the customer. If you fall below the expectations, that's where the negative feelings and dissatisfaction happens. So it's important for companies not only to focus on meeting the basic requirements that they have offered to their customers, but try to go beyond those basic things that they do for their customers. There's many examples of this. Just one small example. I know there's some companies out there. Emirates Airlines is one of them. But if you fly with Emirates Airlines on your birthday, what they do is they oftentimes upgrade customers. I've met a lot of customers who said they've been upgraded free of charge because they're flying on their birthday. What does that do? That goes beyond the expectation of the customer. Some companies give birthday cakes or something of that sort. Some companies might send cards or something. So you don't expect your bank to send you a card, um, a birthday card. Not sure how much meaning that might have for most people, but what the bank is trying to do is they're trying to and go beyond the basic, and they're trying to give you something more than what is offered. So companies that want to build long-term loyalty really need to focus on exceeding expectations from the customer. The product that you're selling, you want to make sure that the performance of the product is a lot better than you advertise. So that's a tricky situation actually for companies. Do we advertise what where it's doing, or do we advertise a little bit less than what it's doing? Because then when the customer purchases the product, they'll get a better performance than they actually receive. But then if you don't advertise the level that the product is doing, the customer might not buy your product because it's a bit lesser, and then the other brands might have a slightly higher. So it's a very tricky situation for companies, but we need to understand our customers to find out what they think, what they feel, what they behave, and then we can go and we can sell that product and service and market it accordingly. Guys, thank you very much. That's the uh, you know end of the lecture for today. Uh, because it is Ramadan timing, we'll do a quick, I think, 20-30 minute session on question and answers if anybody's got them. I'll just create a meeting and invite all of you into the meeting.